Well, I've been renting for about 3 months now, and let me tell you, it's a lot better than my previous living situation, mostly due to the fact that I have my own room now and actually have privacy to myself, and because I can do pretty much whatever I want within reason. The privacy alone allows me to be more creative and adventurous on my side projects. Also, I can be a lot more relaxed because I don't have somebody right next to me. I just have my own little space where I can do whatever I want. Although I'm enjoying renting a room in a house, that begs the question, when am I going to get my own house? I'm sure if you're in your 20s or 30s, you're looking into getting your own house and you're kind of tired of renting and stuff, and you're wondering, hey, when am I going to get my own house? Anyways, I know I'm not the only person who is starting for a house and constantly looking for a suitable arrangement, because owning a home is a huge step in building wealth and provides multiple benefits, such as a potential increase in property value. Over the past probably 10 years, the real estate market has been going straight up for most locations. I know some locations that have been seeing a decrease, but generally if you're in a popular area that's well known, you have seen a lot of increase in property value. Over 2022 alone, we have been seeing a decrease in property value, but that's mostly due to the increase in interest rates. There has been talk about the decrease in real estate over the next couple of years. I've yet to see a huge decrease in property values in my area, but I am looking forward to that actually happening so I can actually buy a house with a reasonable deal and not have to pay like $3,000 to $4,000 a month. And another thing to look forward to when you buy your own home is more stability and control over your household. As a renter, you have control of your room pretty much, and I guess some of the living space and stuff, but you don't have the overarching say of how the household's run. Or you could just not have any roommates at all if you really decide you don't want them. It's really your own piece of land that's owned by you. You don't have to deal with anybody saying they have to do anything besides Uncle Sam pretty much, or maybe if HOA, but I plan on getting a house that doesn't have HOA because I don't really want to deal with anybody saying that, hey, you gotta do this, and we're gonna charge you for it as well. I know some HOAs actually pay for the services and you just give them money so they actually do them, but some of them, they don't do anything, so I just want to avoid them altogether. I just want to do it myself, if anything. Also, when it comes to buying a home, you have the potential of actually making more money if you rent out rooms to, let's say, friends or co-workers. And when you're renting, you just know the fixed cost, which is you're going to spend a certain amount of money every single month, every single time. That's just the fixed cost, and it's going to be that cost every single time. But you'll never have the opportunity to actually make more money than if you actually owned a home and then you're renting out rooms. As a potential loss that I see when I don't own a home. There's also tax benefits when it comes to owning a home. The sound of ownership sounds so great and simple when looking from the outside in, but if you actually start looking at homes, you might find it's a little harder to find something reasonable within your price range, and depending on where you live, might be exponentially harder to actually afford a home if you aren't getting paid an obscene amount of money. If you do end up finding a home though, the battle is still not over because there could be some more setbacks coming in the near future, such as you're stuck in a location, making it harder for you to liquidate your property and leave if you wanted to. Let's say for some reason you buy a home and you're kind of stuck in that location for 5 to 10 years, depending if you really want to stay there and you want to get the most from owning a home and having the chance for your property to actually increase. You're going to want to stay there. But if you're able to make a lot more money by just moving, you're missing out on the opportunity to make more money. You're going to be forced to stay in that area, and you're going to be stuck with the wages in that area as well. Depending on what type of house you buy, it could be older or newer, but if you do happen to buy an older house, you're probably going to have to deal with more repairs and unforeseen accidents in the house that are going to cost you a pretty penny. Generally, if you buy a newer home, you're not going to deal with this stuff, but if you're looking to actually get a pretty good deal on a house, you're probably going to have to buy an older home that comes with some problems, and hopefully you don't choose one that has too great of problems, or you're able to actually find those problems before actually buying it, and then you actually know what you're getting yourself into. But of course, some people don't have an adequate process of actually searching through the home, and down the line they're shocked with some crazy house deficiency that they're gonna have to fix, costing them $10,000 to $30,000, which is a pretty big deal, especially if you have a plan for a huge loss like that. Another fear of mine when actually owning a home is being house poor and not being able to invest into the stock market due to the fact that I have to just pay off my mortgage. Due to the fact that I just pay off my mortgage, I'm unable to have an abundance of money to deal with other life issues, and I'm just kind of stuck in the location and I can't move, and it opens up a giant liability to my financial situation in general because I'm unable to afford anything else besides just the payment. Of course, renting out rooms could help with that, but let's say you have a problem renting out the rooms, then that could just be pretty difficult on you. And of course, you could always have really bad renters, or you could have like squatters in your house. This is probably the worst case scenario, but these things do happen, so it's worthwhile to talk about it. Especially if you're not in the area and you go for like a couple months and now you got people just squatting in your home. That's a big problem. The only way we really deal with that is legal actions, and sometimes those legal actions could actually take a very long time, costing a lot of money. And if you don't expect this stuff, or your screening process for renters is not adequate, you're gonna suffer. Like, screen your tenants adequately so you don't get screwed in the long run. The interest rates for buying a home loan in 2023 is like 7%. It's like 3 times the amount it was in like 2020. It was like 2% in 2020, which is a lot lower and a lot more reasonable in my opinion. And now it's extremely high. That's why you see like some of the prices going down. Some of the prices of the houses actually going down due to the interest rates going up. But generally, the cost of a house has increased, especially with a 30-year loan, if that's what you plan on using. If you look at a house with like say like $500,000 at 2%, you're going to be paying less than a house at like $450 with 7% interest rate over 30 years. The interest rate's really killer. So that's another reason why I haven't really bought a home. It's making it a lot harder to actually find something more affordable for me and that I could actually cash flow from. As for me, I'm either going to continue renting and investing around $3,500 a month, or hopefully get a 5-bedroom house so I could rent out each room and live there for free while also making a profit. This 5-bedroom house, that's my goal. If I'm able to rent out each room for probably like $800, and like it's like including utilities, I'll give me $3,600 in total. So if I could find a mortgage around $3,600 to like $3,000, that would be ideal. That would mean that I wouldn't be paying rent technically, and I'd be able to just pocket the rest of my money, which is that I'd be able to pocket around like $3,500 or even more now, because I don't want to be paying $600 in rent, which I do now. So I'll be actually investing $4,100 into the stock market while also having renters put their money into my mortgage while also building equity in a house. So that is the long-term goal for me, actually owning a home, but the execution of that is really important. I don't know if it's really worth the risk to pursue that right now, especially because I can't really find a decent home that fits those requirements of mine. The 5-bedroom household is not as frequent as like the 3-bed or 4-bedroom, so it's a lot harder. The pool that I'm looking in is a lot smaller than if I were to look in like a 3-bedroom household. But for me, it would just work out the best. If it was like 5 bedrooms, rent out 4 bedrooms, live in one, I'd just pretty much have my mortgage paid off by renters and continue investing in the stock market. I therefore make a lot more money in that case. But I could also just, like, worst case scenario, I no longer invest into the stock market. I'm just putting money into my home. And then the middle outcome of that is I get like some renters, and I'll probably just pay like $1,600 to $2,000 in rent instead of $600, and I'd be able to invest a little bit while also having some renters and having some cash flow from there. Obviously, I would prefer my house to be fully rented and actually making a profit on it instead of just lowering my mortgage. Also, another thing for me is like I don't really know if I want to stay in this area. I'm gonna be here for like the next 3 years, but I don't know if I want to stay here after that. The job markets in my area are actually pretty decent, but I don't know. I really don't know if I want to move. And if I want to move, or I would want to keep the house I buy. Don't really know how it would work if I was in the completely different area, just pretty much being a landlord and not being in the area at all. Be like probably like three to 2 states away. Could always come in and check in or get like a rental property, but they're always going to take some type of money away from you. Depending on how much they take away, I could make some profit or make no profit at all, which would be alright, I guess, because I'd still be making equity in the property. Hopefully 2024 we see a greater change in the real estate market and I'm able to buy a house. That'd be pretty dope. I would definitely do a home tour, and I hope I would be able to rent out like a couple rooms. That'd be pretty sweet. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me know how the home buying process is going for you guys, if you're trying to do like something similar, or if you actually own a home or you bought a home this year.